Time for Give Me the Headlines, presented by Hyundai. That was Josh Allen in the locker room after a big win on the road. Been a long time since the Bills had won a postseason game.
I mean,
hasn't been easy assignment since I was last week.
Yeah, right. But since I was 12 years old, when they were in the midst of going to their third Super Bowl in a row, right? That was a year where they beat the Oilers in the comeback game, right, with Frank Reich. Then the next week, they went to Pittsburgh on the road with, Foster, the running back, right? I'm blanking on his first name in the top of my head here. But Neil O'Donnell, quarterback, all that. They beat Bill Cowher and the Steelers in Pittsburgh. And then the next week played Dan Marino and the Miami Dolphins. And then they went on to play the Cowboys, and they got the shit kicked out of them 52-17. That was the Leon Lett game.
Right? That might be the most insane playoff gauntlet. Like, when you really run through it, that's one of the most insane playoff gauntlets ever.
It's Barry Foster. Thanks, Pete. Yep, yeah, exactly. It's up there.
I get why they ran out of gas against the Cowboys.
Right.
It's
exactly
we've been through 3 world wars. We're done.
Exactly. We got our backup quarterback is doing all this stuff. Right. No doubt about it.
The Bills beat Jacksonville 27-24. Chris, what is the headline for this game?
Well, Buffalo Soldier.
No more Winter Soldier.
Dreadlock Rasta. Okay, I mean, I love that song. It's one of my favorite Bob Marley songs. But yeah, all in all, I mean, he's just amazing in what he did yesterday. Really, the Buffalo in general, I give them a lot of credit. Yeah, I did not think they would win that football game. I did not. I thought it was a tough matchup for them. I really did. But as usual, when Buffalo wins for more times than not, it's Josh Allen making plays in moments where you go, they got to make a play here. They got to do something, and he comes through. And then their defense, I give them some credit too, right? I feel like I probably have underestimated or not give the Bills secondary enough credit. That's really where I think I've been wrong.
Trey White turned back the clock.
Trey White's turned back the clock, right? When they have Teron Johnson and Christian Benford healthy, right? You go, they can cover a little bit. Maxwell Harrison, we know, can run. And then with this Cole Bishop showing up at safety, who can really run and cover some tight ends and do stuff like that, feel like it's really helped their football team. But, yeah, this was a crazy game where Buffalo showed they were soldiers and a little bit more used to the battle of playoff football. It felt like Jacksonville was a little bit like, and especially Trevor Lawrence, maybe a little more tentative than we usually see him.
Yeah.
Certainly wasn't as confident just letting it go like we saw the weeks before that. The ball didn't come out of his hand all that clean all game long. We sat in the viewing room a lot of the times and watched replays and go, man, look at kind of wobbly. But he just wasn't flushing or throwing perfect spirals, right? He was a little off. He felt a little rushed that way. Having said that, man, did Jacksonville have a chance to really put them in a tough spot early on in the football game. I usually don't get to the early parts of the football game to go, this was a moment. But when they go up 7-3, and then Ray Davis fumbles the kickoff, and you go, whoa, Jacksonville can go up 14-3 here and make Buffalo a little pass happy now.
Which is not
what you want to do. And now Jacksonville can play all their crazy coverages and unleash Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker. You went, whoa, this is the formula to where they can dominate Buffalo. But Jacksonville not taking advantage of that situation. And again, more times than not, early on in the football game, you know me, I'm Mr. Kick a field goal. But the play was there. The play was there, and Trevor Lawrence tripped over his feet and didn't get the first down. And you went, ooh, Jacksonville really had a spot there, a chance there to really put Buffalo in a pressure-packed situation. Don't come through, and then who comes through? Josh Allen and the Bills drive 92 yards, score a touchdown, and you go, what? We were about to be up 14-3, and now we're down 10-7, and it felt like the Bills kind of, took back control and momentum of the football game right there, and then we had a back-and-forth game from there on out.
Because against great teams or great quarterbacks, you kind of need that weird special teams play to change the game.
Definitely.
And they got it.
Right.
But then they didn't capitalize.
No, did not capitalize.
By a shin.
Right. And it's just, you hope that, maybe we can get them into the throw the ball every down type of scenario. But Allen really, throughout the day, it was the big throws down the field. It was Khalil Shakir for 5 and 8 and 5 and 8. And then it was a few random, laser down the right sideline to Keelan Coleman. Whoa, laser to, Dawson Knox. Whoa, Brandon Cooks off your back foot, throwing a post route 45 yards downfield as somebody is about to hit you and you're kind of fading away. And it was those plays and those moments with a guy that I feel like was under pressure more than anybody in the playoffs this weekend. You could see it on his face, I felt like, Josh Allen. You could see the pressure. I mean, can anybody get off the subject? Lamar and Mahomes aren't there, so he's supposed to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He's going to the Super Bowl because 2 guys aren't there. If he doesn't go, it's his fault, right? And that's, to me, it's crazy. But, yeah, I think him and McDermott felt that pressure, and they answered it in a big way.
They absolutely did. And even Jacksonville, they dominated the ground game in this one. Like, when you look at the numbers at the end of the game, 23 carries for 154 yards. They averaged almost 7 yards per carry. The Bills, they had more carries, 26, 79 yards. They averaged 3 yards per carry. And still, at the end of the game, the Bills got it done, and they got a turnover to close out the game.
I feel like we have to talk about this a lot, where you go, wait, one team kind of had better stats, but in every big got-to-have-it moment, Allen made the play to where, it might not show total stats, but it's like, no. In the biggest moments where you go players make plays or the games are so close and somebody's got to do something, Josh Allen continues to show he's one of the best football players in football, if not the best. I mean, period. Oh, I want to show you this. What did I write here? This is early on. I wrote, Jags run ball. Being too cute early. I mean, I write in my notes here a number of times just going, the Jags are controlling the line of scrimmage. I mean, to your point.
Yeah.
I mean, at one point in the third quarter, they were running for 8 yards per carry, but yet they were still trying to throw the ball too much. I just didn't understand
a great
that.
Secondary.
Against a team
That's what's weird.
Exactly. And against a team that loves you to just rather do that than try to pound them with the run game. I thought that was the wrong approach. I did not like that. But having said that, they had their chances to win the football game. We know that. Trevor, even though he wasn't his sharpest, right, he throws the bad interception early. That gives them, the Bills do nothing but get to kick a field goal because they were in field goal range as soon as they intercepted it. And then, he had the mistake at the end of the game. But, he did lead them down on a clutch drive to take the lead 24-20 late in the fourth quarter, even though it wasn't smooth all the time. And you went, okay, all right, here we go. Can Jacksonville's D make a stop? But making a stop against this guy, number 17, John Elway, part 2, is easier said than done in these gotta-have-it moments. And that's where, like you've heard me say, Josh Allen's one of the greatest quarterbacks I've ever seen. He doesn't need to win a Super Bowl. I hope he does, but he's one of the greatest quarterbacks I've ever seen.
What do you think of the discourse over the final Buffalo drive of bleeding the clock out versus just getting in the end zone?
It's a tough one. We were talking about it. We were talking at lengths in our room. What'd you think?
I just think there's no world where you could ever live with yourself if you got cute. So say you do bleed the clock, right? And then say you get a false start. Because this football happens. Guys make mistakes.
Especially down in those scenarios because people are trying to jump and everybody's close to each other.
Or forget the false start. Say when you try to do the push, you get a hold, but more likely a false start. And then somehow you didn't get in.
Yeah.
You're probably fired.
Well,
you're probably fired.
Yeah, between 13 seconds, right? Last year, the quarterback sneak not getting in the AFC chain, all that, he would have been in deep trouble. He would have been I'm with you. We were talking about this a lot. I have no problem with what he did because of what you're saying. All right, so first off, we saw one guy do this year. Mike Vrabel did it against the Cincinnati Bengals. Right. The first down and goal from the 1, they took Drake May, and he kind of moved to the left and got in the middle, right? And they lost about 1.5 yards. Then they ran the ball up the middle of second down, didn't get anywhere.
Right.
Ran the ball up the middle on third down, didn't get anywhere. And all of a sudden it was, oh, crap, we wasted a play to wait the clock, and we might not get any points.
Yeah.
And they had, I can't remember how the play went down, but I remember it was an unbelievable throw and catch by Stephon Diggs in the back corner of the end zone. That saved Vrabel's ass right there, right? So I think in that moment, it's easy for us to all sit there. And I definitely was like, man, maybe this is the play where, you take the step back and kneel and let 40 seconds go off. But at the same time, you're going to lose a little yardage. And like you said, it's risky. Now they're going to have a bunch of big dudes in the middle. Are you going to be able to push it in? Definitely from 2 yards out, do all that. If the penalty happens, whatever. So they opted to take their points when they got it, and then Sean McDermott said, my defense is going to make a stop. And that's what they did. But, he definitely would have to answer some questions of, Jacksonville went down and scored a touchdown, and people
Right.
want to, did you think you should have wasted more time? But again, that's always easy when you're sitting in a chair watching on TV compared to when your ass is on the line.
Right.
And you go, we just got to take the lead and get ahead in this football game right now. And that's where I'm not going to second guess that too much here.
Well, he gave a pretty long answer when asked about it. He said,
Right.
I honestly wanted to try and bleed the clock down if we could, but it's like, okay, what plays that you have that do that? We could have taken a knee. We could probably go through about an hour and talk about this, which he's right.
Yeah.
We're talking about these things, and I'm like, man, I know who they have on that side of the ball, at a minimum, starting with their place kicker. And so, which is a good point about Cam Little, who could hit from 65 out. And so we were like, let's not get cute. Let's go win this thing and put our defense out there, and they executed.
Yeah.
The strength of the Bills, besides Josh Allen,
Right.
is the secondary.
Yes.
So Jacksonville, with that amount of time, even if it is 50 seconds or whatever, is going to be throwing. So he leaned into his two strengths. He leaned into Josh Allen getting in the end zone and then his secondary. And I'll never fault a coach for leaning into your first strength and your second.
No, agreed there. And, we've talked about this a decent amount, too. Like, when he feels like he can get you into either run or pass,
They're really good.
he feels good about that, right? One or the other. And he knew this was going to be a scenario where he was going to be able to play some of his cool coverages and really put them in a bind that way. And what happened? He played one of his cool coverages, and Trevor Lawrence didn't quite see it the right way. And, of course, it ended up in this interception, and Cole Bishop made the play of the year to this point for the Buffalo Bills.
Well, we have a little rare Monday treat. How about some all
let's do
22
this.
screenshots of Monday? This was the game-ending interception from Trevor Lawrence. Obviously, the fourth quarter, under a minute left. It's going to be behind us the whole time here. This was the first play of the drive which also was tough. Not a good kick return.
Right.
They're at the 23, and that's a
Right.
spot where it's like, can we get to the 35 and then hit a couple plays quick?
Yep.
So they're already pretty backed up. And then, like you said, Chris, it's a full passing script. And do you think he got fooled or it was just a good play?
It's a little bit of like both. Like, this is one where sometimes you talk about you wish, like when we talk about feel, just going, wait, I know my rules, but if this defense does this, I know that this play could be open or this guy could be open. So I'm gonna pat the ball one extra time just to let it come about, because I think we're going to have a big play off of it, right? I think that's what we have here. All right, and within this play, okay, I'm going to make sure I don't turn my mic off, and you're going to see here, all right, you got Trevor Lawrence in the shotgun. He's got down here Jacoby Myers on the bottom of the screen. He's going to run the in cut, right? And run it right here. Tre'Davious White's locked on to him. And they're also here with Cole Bishop kind of end up playing kind of a quarters look. So they're going to play two-man over here, and they're playing quarters over here. And he's playing here to stop that kind of route, the in-breaking routes, these little maybe 8 and 10-yard crossers right over the middle, okay? So within that, he does that. And then here, you're going to have Parker Washington who's going to come here and run a post. And you got Brian Thomas Jr. who's going to come up here. And I think at some point he's going to try to run like a go route. They're almost going to try to 2-on-1 ball, the safety, right? But he kind of stops his route, I think, as he sees the ball being thrown. All right, so let's show the next picture, Pete. You're going to show the picture here, right? You see Cole Bishop. He's kind of looking for crossers. He's looking here, and his attention right now is looking this way. But in about a split second, he's going to be looking right down here, all right? And what I'm saying, you're seeing great pass protection here. This is one of those plays where I bet you he's alerted to if they play this type of coverage. He hit a similar play early in the fourth quarter to Parker Washington that got them down into scoring position to score a touchdown at one point in the fourth quarter, where he was over here, it was quarter safeties, and he threw the ball back over here over the top of the safeties. Again, I'm being quarterbacky here, all right, a little bit. But you'll see here, let's go to the next picture, Pete. So you see Jacoby Myers, he's in breaking. You could see his bright lights are down on him right now. Now, he's throwing the ball already. And what I'm just saying is I wish he would have in this moment, because we saw it live, and it was me and Devin McCourty, and we're kind of live going, ooh, I think he might have had Parker Washington, all right? Always easier sitting here, sitting in the couch. I get it. But at the same time, it's one where you go, ooh, this is here, and they're playing to kind of stop this right here. I wish he'd just hitch up in the pocket a little bit, because this guy's coming down, down, and this guy's going this way, and he's got a whole bunch of room to throw him the ball here. Go ahead to the next picture, Pete. You're going to see he tries to jam it down the middle, and as he's jamming it down the middle, with him flat-footed and the bright lights there, it felt like he could have maybe thrown it over the top down the field. And he didn't have pressure around him to where you felt like it might have been a moment to go, I don't know. Let's not force it over the middle on 1st and 10. Let's not do that into tight coverage with a Tre'Davious White and a safety kind of eyeing it down. Tre'Davious White did a good job, right? But it's one of those where you just go, I know easier said than done, but just stand in the pocket for a half a second, let him clear, and maybe you can make a big play and kind of jumpstart this drive, maybe even go down and score a touchdown if you get a big play like this to start it off.
I'm kind of surprised by the aggressive nature of the Bills in that spot. That's not like okay, give him everything in front. We just can't allow a touchdown.
Definitely not.
Make a play.
Definitely.
Because if he holds the ball a little longer.
Or let's not let them get off to a good start here, right?
There was some shots there. There's definitely a shot there. But once again, he's not thinking that.
No, he's not
He's
thinking that.
They're going to give me some stuff in the middle and underneath to start the drive, and then it'll get more condensed and congested. Right. And
that's where experience matters.
You're right.
You're playing battle-tested football. Josh Allen's seen a lot more in that, as far as stuff like that. And again, that's a tough play. So I don't want to be too nitpicky there. Right. But I think that's one where Trevor Lawrence will watch it today on film and go, I should have just waited a half second more. Instead of jamming into this guy who I knew was pretty tightly covered, I had good pass protection. I wish I would have just taken one more hitch and one more pat of the ball and let him cross Cole Bishop's, body there, and maybe we could have had a big play. Because he made a very similar play earlier on in the game, like I talked about, that jumped out, and he did a great job hitting that one. But that was an opportunity there where you thought, maybe they could have got a jump started. Either way, Bills clutch once again. Unbelievable what they're doing.
So Jacksonville's eight-game win streak ends, as does their season. Trevor Lawrence said, "There's no guaranteed success, but I feel like this is sustainable. I know what we're doing offensively. I feel like I got complete ownership over it and mastered it as the year went on. So I do feel like it's sustainable, but you have to earn it every year. It's not just going to happen."
That's right.
I think they should feel good going into next year.
Playing with
really
house money.
Good. Yeah.
House money. Them just like the Patriots, like the Bears. I don't give a shit what happens the rest of the year. The year was a success. Period. First-year head coaches. You had some of the best records in football. I don't care what happens to any of those teams. I know they want to win. I get that. I'm rooting for them to win, but I'm just saying they've already won for the big picture of things. And I think to Trevor Lawrence's point, hey, we're in a new era here. We're in a new era. There's some new guys. There's some new quarterbacks. There's some teams where, like Jacksonville, where you go, yeah, they're young. They're young nucleus. They're not going anywhere, especially with this coach. But damn, I mean, between Denver, Jacksonville, New England, Houston, right? Those are just the AFC teams where you go in a new era. Maybe Seattle is starting to get into that. Chicago, what they're doing, right? Can Carolina and Bryce Young start a new era, a new run here, right? I mean, it's kind of incredible what we're seeing. And it's awesome to watch some of these young teams, young coaches, and the young quarterbacks to go along with it.
What do you think the opening line is for Bills-Broncos?
I think the Bills somewhat match up okay with them, just because we know the Broncos D is awesome, but Josh Allen's the kind of guy that can kind of combat that and even the playing field to a degree. And then Denver's offense is something we've talked about all year, to where I'd go, I would think Buffalo can hang in there with them. All right, so this is a tough one.
It's at Denver, so factor in 1.5 goes to Denver by the home field advantage.
Yeah.
Then take it from there. I'm like surprised with the way you say it. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be.
I'm going to say it's like a pick 'em or the Buffalo's favored by 1.5.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Buffalo's favored by 1.5.
I'm usually pretty good at picking spreads.
Yeah.
But I could see it. I think they do match up. I do think this is one of those, and like we always talk about, one team could be better in totality, just like the Rams are better than the Panthers in totality, but the Panthers match up well with them. And in the NFL, when you match up well with the team, I don't give a crap how much better in totality you are. You're going to be in a dogfight. And I think that's what we'll see on Saturday in Denver.
That was Give Me the Headlines presented by Hyundai.
Yo. Thanks for watching, homies. We are now in the NFL season here on Chris Simms Unbuttoned.
Hit subscribe to get our weekly picks, game recaps, film deep dives, and much, much more.
Thanks again for watching. Subscribe, rate, review. Peace out. You know where to find us.